Ladies and gentlemen, the National Archives does not have the emails that President Obama sent to Hillary Clinton on her private servers, nor does the National Archives have the 22 million emails, according to numerous publications, that George W. Bush lost. Newsweek, the George W. Bush White House lost 22 million emails. That's a September 12, 2016 article, and they had, the RNC had a server also in his administration, the difference being that Hillary Clinton did not have a state.gov email, and classified data and top secret intel went to her server. But George W. and that's impossible to do from a cybersecurity perspective, and it's also a criminal act and a nightmare for national security. Clinton's email servers and the George W. Bush 22 million emails lost. Wikipedia Bush White House email controversy. In 2009, it was announced that as many as 22 million emails may have been lost. Was the National Archives involved? Did they get Congress involved? No. I was reading a CNN article, so you don't have to, saying, that's not true. The National Archives debunked Trump when he said that other presidents mishandled classified data, in a far more egregious manner. The National Archives does not have the 22 million emails. Newsweek, NPR, millions of missing Bush-era emails. The Obama administration has found 22 million emails that went missing. So, Esquire, the Bush White House lost 22 million emails. Millions of Bush administration emails recovered, finally, okay, CNN. Mislabeled and effectively lost according to the National Archives. Effectively lost according to the National Archives. Okay, then of course, Mother Jones, you want a real email scandal? Look at the 22 million emails that they lost compared to Clinton's private servers that transferred top secret intel onto her servers. Okay, both of these email debacles, these national security nightmares, these cybersecurity monstrosities, infinitely dwarf anything Trump did with boxes, okay? So, no, it's like you can just look 2 seconds on the internet. The National Archives was lying. They had 22 million emails, or millions of emails, let's say, from the Bush administration they didn't have. They also don't have the communication from President Obama to Clinton's servers, which one of Clinton's associates or lawyers state in an email, in one of the campaign emails, the president knows he's emailed the Secretary of State. And I wrote a Daily Caller article on that. So it's like, it's so unbelievable that you have this, not only a double standard, but it's a double standard where you'd have to be a disingenuous fool or an ignorant imbecile not to realize. By the way, hit subscribe to this channel, and happy 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. Stay safe. Fox News. Groups say 22 million missing Bush White House emails. So let's just read, we'll read a Wired magazine article. Okay, the computer technicians have found 22 million emails that were believed to have been lost during President George W. Bush's administration, according to the Associated Press. The discovery was announced Monday by the National Security Archive, okay, and the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics. So, Bush was not indicted by a special counsel. Gee, I wonder why. The Bush administration was even worse than President Obama's administration in terms of foreign policy. They started the ball rolling in terms of never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and I wrote about that. I've written against counterinsurgency conflicts in numerous publications. You can go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications. I've written against counterinsurgency conflicts, which is what Democrats and Republicans have gotten us into. Biden, Clinton, Kerry all got us into these terrible, devastating counterinsurgency conflicts. Okay? But Trump was negotiating. He had every right to do so with the U.S. government. Okay, a government that was firmly against him and taking the side of the Democratic Party, an extension of the Democratic Party in many ways. He never really had an administration of his own. Okay, the one time a judge actually sides with him, it's like the end of the world. Democrats and media can't stop calling the Florida judge, biased. But when a judge sides with them, oh, that's good. When the Supreme Court sides with them, oh, fantastic. When the Supreme Court doesn't, it's a conservative Supreme Court. They say, oh, well, you're going to pack the courts. What kind of absolute, what kind of stupidity? How stupid do you have to be to think that if you just pack the courts, which is not even, it's not only unconstitutional. If five more liberal justices, you would get 7 more Republican or conservative leaning justices. You would have hundreds and hundreds of justices after a couple hundred years of Republicans and Democrats just packing the courts. I mean, it's like they're so power hungry, it's unbelievable. So anyway, the National Archives lied. They didn't get the emails from President Obama's administration, the documents, the classified documents or unclassified documents within those emails. And everything, here's the funny thing. There's a process that goes through, it's like an arduous, long process to find out if something within a presidential administration is classified or not. The National Archives did not go through that, nor did any intel agency for the 22 million lost emails. What are the chances the National Archives would have deemed something classified within 22 million emails or within Clinton's deleted emails that might have had communication with the president? So it's like, what are you doing if you know anything about politics? This is why, the channel's not that big. It's 200,000+ because of you. But you watch this channel because I'm pretty good at just looking into the past, 10, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years. You can just look into the past. It's not ancient history. We're not talking about Thucydides. We're just talking about 2008 and 2009. The Bush administration, and especially President Obama's administration, made a mockery of classified data. They used the National Archives also to hide from the American public a whole lot of what they don't want exposed. So President Obama said he was going to be the first digital president. There's no website that you can look through all of his millions upon millions of records. Okay, and so and then you have the National Archives basically working for Bush and President Obama. Bush had his records stored in a bowling alley and restaurant. Clinton had classified data on tape near his underwear in a sock drawer. I'm not making anything up. Okay, you can just look it up. And the judge said, well, he was writing a book, so you can just go and that's fine, it's not a big deal. And then President Obama had tens of millions of documents that he stored in a location outside the National Archives, but the National Archives was protecting. Okay, the Presidential Records Act also doesn't have an enforcement mechanism. So when you go after Trump, you're doing so out of malice. You're trying to do to Trump what you never would even think of doing to any former president. And it's the DOJ's, the Supreme Court will overturn any conviction, especially the indictments against Trump. They're just trying to throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. They have to prove that Trump didn't declassify. It's not Trump that has to prove that he declassified data as the commander-in-chief, which the Supreme Court ruled that he can do. So you're going to have to prove, and so there's going to be 50 people, one person is one former, they're all going to try to turn on him, but they're not going to have any evidence that he didn't declassify because he could verbally declassify. Also, there's no precedent of a president having to prove that he declassified a document. Furthermore, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, a top agent gave him a thank you note because they knew exactly where all the material was stored. They did not know where the material, 22 million emails in the Bush administration, 30,000 deleted emails, and 30,000, whatever. There was top secret intel flowing into Clinton's servers, private servers, secret, that even President Obama didn't even know of. Highly illegal, but the National Archives didn't have the communication between the president and Clinton. Okay? So what's the issue here? The issue is they're trying desperately to get Trump. Every time he gets indicted, his poll numbers go up. Hit subscribe to the channel.